My name is Michael DeLeon, and I founded an organization called Steered Straight. And Steered Straight is a very unique, atypical student presentation program that we're here to help you with some issues in your school. We're bringing a message to your school about important topics that students deal with every day: bullying, gangs, and drug and alcohol abuse.
You understand, so many times the most important message that we could get in our entire lives, it goes in one ear and out the other, or we don't even hear it because we're not paying attention, because we're talking to our friends, because we're paying attention to something else. And our teachers have all this valuable information for us and we miss it. And our parents have this great advice for us and we miss it because we're not paying attention. And then we sit ourselves down in a situation and we wonder how we got ourselves into it. We wonder why we weren't listening. We're asking for everybody for help. We're getting on our knees and praying, oh God, get me out of this. Well, we should have got in that in the first place. And I want to share a story with you, my story, and how it relates to bullying.
Just getting into my story a little bit. I was involved in drugs. I became a drug addict. I never envisioned myself as a drug addict, but I became one. And my drug involvement led me to be involved in a street gang. My involvement in a street gang put me in a place where I endangered my family, I endangered my loved ones, and I endangered myself. And because I was present when a homicide was committed, when one kid in my gang, in my set, killed another kid in my set over money.
My kid calls me back and says, yo, we looked at everything, you're short, you're missing some funds, you need to come over here right away and pay that money. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about, I'm not sure, we better count again. And I'm getting mad, pissed off that he's disrespecting me, he's accusing me of stealing, and I hang up the phone. About an hour later, I get a knock on my door, there's 5 dudes there from my crew, there to talk to me. They've been in my house plenty of times before. It's not like today was a home invasion or anything, but it was a little bit different. They came into my house and sat down at the dining room table. Now, when anybody came to drop off money to me, I put it in a list. I thought I was this little gang member accountant. I was keeping a little track of everybody who gave me money. So every Saturday morning, I turned in my money. And I need to know how much money I was supposed to have. And I was always correct. And I pull out my list and I'm like, there's your figure. It's the same amount of money I gave you. He pulls out his list. Now, I didn't even know he had a list because I was trusted. I thought I was trusted. Whenever somebody dropped off money to me, they were required to call him. I gave Michael $500. I gave Michael $100. Whatever they gave me, they had to call in what they gave me. So on Saturday morning when I went with my money, they knew what I was supposed to have. And I never knew that, but it didn't matter because I'm not trying to take anything that doesn't belong to me. Well, I looked down at his list and it says, kid's name Tariq, $1,200. That's exactly the amount I'm short. And he's not on my list. They go, there's your problem. You need to go see Reed and tell him to give you that money because he didn't pay me. Then the guy gives me the benefit of the doubt. He gets up, goes out to the porch, calls Reed, comes back inside, he sits down, he says, yo, Reed said he paid you. He paid me. I don't care what he says. You need to go speak to him. You need to deal with him. He didn't give me that money. He didn't pay me. You need to go see him. And the kid sitting next to him, my dining room table, gets up. He takes out a 9mm Ruger handgun. He walks over to my 5-year-old daughter, Kayla, and puts the gun to her head. He takes out a 22 caliber handgun. He walks right up to my wife and sticks her right in her mouth and says, your family's dead if you don't pay this money. I'm scared to death. My kid is crying and screaming. My wife is crying and screaming, begging me for help. I'm standing there in my house with these guys with a gun to my child, a gun to my wife, over $1,200 that I didn't receive. And I'm asking them and begging them to put their guns down. And thankfully somebody speaks up. This kid named Maurice, he says, you know what, let's go take Michael down and see Tariq. If Tariq says in front of Michael that he paid him, we'll kill him. And we'll come back for his wife and kid. And they were serious. So we get the SUV, we drive down the road, down the parkway, go to Tariq's house. Now Tariq lives in this apartment building. There's 16 apartments in this building, and there's like a common door who leads to all the apartments. So we pull up in front of that common door and go out and go up to Tariq's apartment. His sister's there, and they ask his sister to leave. She knows what it is, so she jets. And we start getting into it. Now, I need Tariq to come clean. I need you to tell these guys you didn't pay me. You know, I'm trying to explain to him as a man, you know, they got a gun on my wife and kid's head, and you got to come clean because he didn't pay me that money. And he looks at me and goes, I paid you. I said, what are you talking about? You paid me. We start fighting. We start getting into it. I'm punching him. He's punching me. I need him to come clean. He's trying to say that he paid me. And for some reason, he just stops. He breaks down. He starts crying. He sits down on the bed and puts his head in his hands. He pulls up his arm sleeves. And he's got heroin marks all up and down his arms, needle marks, track marks from shooting heroin. He's been banging dope for months and months and months, and he can't catch up. And he decides he's just going to put it on me, and if I get shot and killed, I get shot and killed. And the same dude who held a 9mm Ruger to my daughter Kayla takes his gun out, points the trigger, point blank range, shoots and kills him. Right in front of me, right in front of everybody in the room. I was scared to death. I was scared to death. I'd seen people die before, I'd seen a lot of things in the streets that still keep me awake at night. But I never saw somebody in my inner circle shoot and kill somebody in my inner circle over money, over $1,200,000.
And at a high school assembly in New Jersey, I met my now partner, John Fuqua. John is somebody who's never been in any trouble. The only time he got fingerprinted was when he became a teacher. To get his teacher certification, he got fingerprinted. It's the only time in his life he's ever been fingerprinted. And he looks a lot different than me. He's tall, African-American, good-looking guy. And he, for all intents and purposes, maybe looks the part of my story.
Drugs kill dreams. Look at her. Look how pretty she was. Look how attractive this lady was before using meth. Everybody, I want you to also do this. Get on the computer today. All you gotta do is go to www.meth.com. Meth. These are the faces of methamphetamine. This is what meth do to your body. As you can see, her face is drying up. As you can see, there's blotches and lesions on her skin. Because the drugs that she's putting into her body is taken away from her physical. They're breaking her down.
I think the biggest advantage of having steered straight to a presentation, and I'm not trying to take any credit for coming up with this whole concept and this whole idea. I'm very fortunate. I'm very lucky to be able to use my story to influence kids. But more and more and more, I see adults, I see kids in our communities making poor choices, and our prisons are getting full. Just getting full of young kids who've made poor choices and poor decisions. And I don't want my past to become their future.
Please.
Thomas DePay, former NFL player, Philadelphia Eagles, 4 years, Minnesota Vikings year.
And how did you get involved with the Steer Straight program?
Well, Steer Straight came about, a friend of mine, Kente Smith, knew Mike and John. He talked about the things they were doing, and he told me to give him a call. I actually took him about a year to actually get going with Mike, because when I was done with football, I was so much worried about me, myself, and I. But then through all my transition after football, going into life, I realized what my gift was, and that was to give back. From all the experiences that I had, my teachers, my friends, my family who pulled for me, and I realized that to whom much is given, much is expected. So I figured it was my turn to actually give back and use football as a platform to go out and reach kids, something I should have done a long time ago while I was playing, not after I'm done.
Now, I'm not here because I got here by myself. You know how I got here? Okay, I'm answering. I'm glad you asked me. Because my teachers, my counselors, my principals, along the years, they all work together to get me where I am.
Okay. You guys ready? What's your name? Danielle. Hi, Danielle. Tell us how to learn this presentation. Tell me something you learned this presentation.
I learned that
Mike.
I learned that bullying is wrong, and what you do in your past can affect your future.
A round of applause. So what's the question?
If you could go back and look back at everything you've done, is there anything you change?
Is there anything I would change? Wow, that is a great question. Honestly, there's nothing that I wouldn't change, because everything that happened to me got me where I am. So because of what I experienced, it got me here. So now I'm here to tell you that the things that what I did wrong and what I did right helped me get where I am. So now that I'm letting you guys know, you have no reason, you have no excuse not to be successful if you do what you're supposed to do. Great question. God, what's the purpose of this school?
To learn.
So now, do we all agree that this school is because we're all here to learn? Right? Right? Right?
My name is Hank Poteet. Currently, I'm a football coach, college football coach. Played in the NFL for 10 years.
And how did you get involved with the Steer Straight program?
Well, actually, Thomas and I are good friends. We met at our church in New Jersey, and he pretty much told me about what they were doing and some of the things that they were trying to do in the community, and I wanted to be part of that.
Do you think this is a great program for these kids today?
Definitely. A lot of young people don't have good role models, and sometimes they don't see positive figures in the community. And for myself, I allow football is pretty much a platform for me to give back. And just by me playing in the NFL, young people want to hear what I have to say. And if I can take advantage of that and help steer them in the right direction, I feel like I'm playing my part in, pretty much what I'm supposed to be doing as a player.
We have to have more leaders and fathers, because it allowed me to build friendships. It allowed me to build friendships with other people besides the people who I went to school with. It helps you to be able to communicate with others. It also helped me to develop my skill and technique for other sports that I was playing. Being a good role model. Now, as an athlete in college, about to go into the NFL, a lot of the good character, a lot of the coaches, they would go talk to people that I went to, talk to my teachers from high school, talk to my elementary school teachers. They would talk to the people in my community. They wanted to know what kind of person was Hank Poteet. Make sure you understand the importance of having good character and listening to your teachers, authority, your parents.
All our programs are very unique and very intense, and kids are talking about it, it resonates with them, and they go home and talk to their parents about it.
Well, I think this program is important for school because kids really need to learn how bullying, how serious people actually take it. Like about the student who from Rutgers, his cyberbullying, and people think that just because you delete it or if you message privately, nothing's going to happen, but messages are recorded, messages are posted. They take camera of the messages they have on their phone and put it there, and it's not over. They have private conversations put on there, and I don't really think it's cool. I actually enjoy the program because the program really helped on how people solved bullying and how they took it. And I get bullied a lot at school since kindergarten, 6th grade, and it's really frustrating. I just wanted to hear other people's stories and how they do it and how they solve it.
Hello, my name is Tracy Wells Huggins. I'm the founder and CEO of Renewed Minds in Vineland, New Jersey. Why do I think Steered Straight needs to be in the schools? I think that as a constant partner with them, that it's important for the message of anti-bullying, anti-gangs, and what poor choices can result in needs to be out to all the young people. I think that you need an organization that's going to come with truth, with sincerity, and with real facts that actually hit home and that the young people can relate to. Also, I just feel that Michael has been through a tremendous amount of trial and error in his life, and he's come out on top. And what better way to get young people to understand that you can learn from your mistakes, but it's preferable for you to learn from the mistakes of others.
If you look on TV and see how many programs there are about prison, you got Lockup, you got Lockup Raw, you got, Cops, you got all these things. But kids have that big disconnect. They have that disconnect, and they just don't see themselves getting locked up. They just don't see themselves suffering the consequences. And I never envisioned myself in that kind of trouble. But I tell you, when I got to a place like this, Southwood State Prison, and you go in there and you drive in there and you're locked down, you pull up to this place, it looks like a little city. I spent 10 years in a cell like that and hated every minute of it. I'll never forget it as long as I live.
When he was talking about when his personal life, where when he was into something, and it's like he was telling us, even though we don't do those, be the ones doing the actual crime or like bullying people, we still get in trouble. Like we gotta make our own decisions and not follow everybody, follow the crowd.
And what did you think of today's whole presentation?
Well, it's nice to know what's out there and what bullying really is.
And what did you take from Michael's whole experience about jail and everything?
Well, you shouldn't do drugs because it can really mess up your life, and like it follows you throughout your life when you're trying out for jobs and stuff.
Have you seen or witnessed any bullying around the area, and what do you think? Like, is it good, bad?
Like, usually you don't see bullying that often, but just not too long ago, a kid on our bus was getting messed around with, and he didn't really appreciate it, and it made me feel bad how he was just getting beat up.
Okay.
This is a place, you know, where you come to spend the rest of eternity after you've lived a full life. I don't want to have grave sites with 15 and 16-year-old kids, 14-year-old kids that lost their lives due to drug addiction or due to gang violence. And just in the last couple of weeks, we've lost another kid in our county due to gang violence. And the most saddest part of the story is, here lies this kid who lost his life, I think at the age of 17, due to gang violence, and his family had enough to bury him. His family did not have enough to buy his tombstone. And do you think the gang members that he was in a gang with chipped in, came to his family out of honor and gave them money for a tombstone? They didn't. He doesn't even have a tomb marker. Hopefully he'll get one. His family will save up the money. But here lies a child at the age of 17 who lost his life due to gang violence because he wanted to be part of a gang, and the very gang he was a part of didn't even chip in the money for his tombstone.
Cheer.
My name is Dennis Swan. I'm a 7th grade social studies teacher at the Fernwood Avenue Middle School.
And how long have you been at this school?
I've been at this school for 12 years.
And what did you think of the whole Steer Straight presentation that was brought here today?
It's great because the kids really have someone who has something that applies to like a real life application, as opposed to hearing about these things going on or hearing about things that have happened to other people. They get to hear from someone who actually has gone through all the things that they're talking about. Mike's story was really amazing, and I think a lot of the kids really were listening because they realized like it was his story, it wasn't the story of somebody else.
And did you think this program could be used at any school at any age?
Definitely. We were just talking actually about Project Pride, which was something else that he was talking about, where we see some of the inmates come and talk to some of the kids about their consequences and what can happen in that position. So I thought it was outstanding, and I thought the kids really enjoyed it, and hopefully it's going to make an impact.
Can you tell me what you guys thought of the presentation today?
I thought the presentation really hit home with the students. We were in there for over an hour, and you definitely kept all of their attention throughout the program. You had them involved as far as getting up and participating, and I think that the message was very well received.
I appreciate that the message was geared to the students. I mean, we had 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders in there, and it's very rare that we have athletes come in who are not used to working with the younger children, and they were able to really reach out and bring it down to their level and hit home with the kids. They talked about homework, about bullying. They related everything that they had been through in their own lives and brought it home to the kids, and I think it really was relevant. And as Mrs. Hendricks said, the children were engaged the whole time, and we rarely see that in an hour-long presentation. Sometimes we lose them, but the gentlemen were very good, and they kept it moving, and we heard from 3 different gentlemen today, so wonderful. It was a wonderful presentation.
The students were just in awe by seeing professional football players, and anything that they were saying, they were receiving their message. They gave personal stories of their trials and tribulations and really related to them, and really the message hit home and was well received by the students. They enjoyed it very much.
The most amazing thing and the initial thing I learned when I got to prison was that prison is not full of evil people. There are evil people in prison, but prison is mostly full of good people who've made poor choices. Good men and women, young boys and girls, young men and women, who've made very, very negative choices in their lives, and they're in prison. All our presentations are very effective, based on rational emotive behavioral therapy and consequential thinking. It's very effective, it resonates with the students, and the students talk about it for days and weeks to come. You can contact me at Michael DeLeon at steeredstraight.org. Just visit our website, steeredstraight.org as well, or you can call me at 856-691-6676. We'd love to come to your school.